Hello, I'm Whalley, welcome to Lenscraft. If you've been watching my YouTube channel recently, you'll have seen quite a lot of videos showing how to mask and control images through masking in tools such as On1 Photo RAW 2018 and also Photoshop and Lightroom. And I've been receiving questions asking how do I know how to do all this stuff in these tools. Thinking about it, it comes back to how I learned to mask in Photoshop before any of the latest tools were available, and I want to show you today how, using an old school method that was one of the first I learned probably about 18 years ago, I want to show you how to use that to control masks. And once you understand that, all of a sudden all the other tools fall into place and you become much more proficient with them. First thing I want to do is show you this image, not the one on screen now, but actually this one. Now, masks are nothing more than black and white images that control where an adjustment is applied and where it isn't applied. When you see a black tone, such as this one here, which is value 0, what you get is no adjustment applied, so it hides the adjustment. Now, the opposite end of the scale, 255, which equates to white, when you see that on a mask, it means that the adjustment effect is being applied through the mask at full strength. Now, when you see a grey, so one of these values here, 43 through to 214, when you see those values, what it means is that the effect is being blocked by the mask to some level. Now, the darker the grey that you see, the more the effect of the layer is being blocked. If you look at this bottom strip, what we've got here is a gradient going from 0 to 255. If you look at a mask, all that you get is a black and white image. So let's just go over to our image and we'll create a mask so that we can demonstrate this. Here's the image. And all I'm going to do is click on the RGB channel in my channels window, and I'm going to use this icon here to load that channel as a selection. Now, if I apply adjustment to my image, so we'll use an adjustment layer here, so let's use saturation. Now, what's that done is it's created the layer, which I can turn on and off here, but it's also created a mask. Sorry, if I hold down my Alt key and I click on that mask, you can now see the mask on the screen rather than the image. If I do that again, it just goes back to the colour image. So let's have a look at the mask. There you are. And you can see that this has created a black and white image of the original image. So what we've got here is a luminosity mask, where the darkest areas of the image are now black, and the lightest areas have gone to almost white. Now let's go back to our gradients. Now what I want to show you now is how we can control these tones, and the tool we're going to use to do that is actually the levels adjustment. So let's go to image adjustment and open up levels. So if you notice here, what we've got is a smooth curve running along here, and that's this gradient that you see at the bottom, and every so often you have a spike here, and those are these shaded blocks up here. Now what you need to understand is how the sliders in the levels dialog can control how dark or light these tones are. So let's start with the black level. So this is the black level here. That represents black in the image. Now I can click on that and I can actually drag it over to the right. It's now showing a value of 43. Now what that means is that every tone that was darker than a 43, or darker than a value of 43, has now been forced to black, because this black level tells Photoshop at what tonal level something becomes black. So anything that was darker than 43 previously is now black. So if we move that up to 86, anything that was 86 or darker is now black. And you'll notice over here as I'm doing this, 0, 43 and 86 on here have all now become black. It's only the values that are lighter than that, 128, 171 and so on that are still not black. So let's now move that up a bit further, and we get to 128, which is mid-tone grey. And now everything is black here, but these three squares are still grey or white. And you can see the same down here on the strip. Let's now move that back to 0, and let's now come down from the other side, and we'll take the white point slider this time. And if we move that down to 128, you can now see that everything that was a lighter tone than 128 is now white. And it's only those tones that were darker that you can still see. And again, you can see that on the lower strip as well. So let's now reset that, and we'll look at the other control we've got here, which is our mid-tone grey. And that we can actually move to one side or the other. So if I now move that to line up with this value here, what we can see is that we've still got a black, we've still got a white, but the tones here in the image are now spread out and have all become lighter. And if I move over further, again, we've still got the graduation, but they've become lighter, and you can see it again on this strip down at the bottom. And what we're doing here is we're mapping the mid-tone point in the image, and we're mapping it to a new value. If I move now my white point, you can see these are now turning white, and the values in between those two tonal values here have still remained light and can still be controlled by this mid-tone slider. All that's happening is that the mid-tone slider gets moved around when we actually move the black and white point. So those are ways that you can control the blacks and the whites and the greys in a mask. Now, the other thing we've got here is this output level slider. Now what that determines is how dark or light an output tone is going to be. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's take this slider and let's now move that to a value of 86. So that's at this point here in the histogram. Now look what's happened. I've still got whites, but I don't have a black anymore, because black is now being remapped to this value of 86. And if I take my top slider and I move that out, it's only when I get to a value of 86 that it would become black. But look, it doesn't become black anymore. All that's happening is that you're getting these three values here up to 86, and they are getting a new value which is still a mid-tone point. If I move that down, those come back to being black. If I move it to the right, they take on, the darkest value they'll take on there is 128, mid-tone. And it doesn't matter what I do with this slider, the darkest they will ever become is mid-tone. So there we're controlling the darkest tone that you will ever get in a mask. Equally, you can control the lightest tone. What that's done is it said that anything that's white, or considered to be white, is now mapped back to a mid-tone value. So you'll never get lighter than a mid-tone grey in that mask. Let's now take that and apply it to an actual mask. So if I come over here, this was our mask, and what we want to do is we will click on the mask there just to make sure it's selected, and we'll now use the adjustment levels and we can apply it. So the first thing you'll notice on this histogram is there isn't a white in this image, so nothing's being selected at full strength. So let's change that. We move that down to 217, and all of a sudden there are white areas in the mask. Now let's actually target anything that is of a value of 128 or brighter. So what we've done there is we've moved the mid-tone value up to 128, sorry, the black value up to 128, and that has actually turned anything that's darker than a mid-tone black. So that now will not be targeted by our adjustment. The rest of the histogram is now all appearing between those two values. Now what we could do is we could actually make the lightest part dark again, or we can set the darkest part as well, but I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is I just want to create a light area here that's going to, anything that's brighter than a midtone value is going to be adjusted, and I will actually turn some of the areas to pure white so they're at full strength. Okay, now that's my mask created. We can go back to the image now and let's have a look at some of the adjustments we can apply. And I'm using a saturation layer here just to be quite obvious with the adjustment. So let's first increase the saturation, and there you can see that it's actually being applied only to the areas of the mask that were the lightest areas. So we can target a saturation adjustment. We can also control how light those areas are, and we can change the hue. So all of a sudden, using our luminosity mask together with our adjustments that we've applied, we've taken control of that mask. Let's now switch over and take a look at something like On1. Here we have the On1 effects interface, and I'm going to add a new filter to this, and we'll start off with something like a color enhancement so that we can see quite obviously what we're doing. Now using that we can actually increase the temperature or we can reduce it, and the effect is being applied to everywhere. So let's have a look at the mask we've got. You'll notice it's white, and that means, as we've said before, white allows the effect to be applied to everything. Now what I like about On1 is this nice luminosity mask feature, and that you can view the mask. So you'll notice already it's just as we were using in Photoshop. Now what you've got is, strangely, a levels slider here, and that allows you to actually make things darker and lighter. So all we're doing there is creating the same sort of control as we were using in Photoshop. So these sliders are just like that. What you've got in On1 though is you've got some extra adjustments such as feather, where you can blur that mask, or you've got a density slider, which is what's being applied to the black. So it's just like the controls we were using previously. And we've also got this extra window control where we can actually choose the tonal range against which the levels adjustment will work. So that's really why I know how to use these controls and sliders when I pick up a new piece of software. It's all built around the same tools, the same old school tools that we used to use in Photoshop. Now if you found that useful and want to know more, you might be interested in my book that's on Amazon, which is Mastering Photoshop Masks, and it looks at all different ways of controlling masks. I've put the information for that down below in the notes to this video. I'm Whalley. I hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video, and I'll see you in the next session.